Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for checking out this video here on Show Style and Spirit. I am Ebony, of course. As you can see from the title of this video, I want to talk about how the courts, in my opinion, the court system when it comes to divorces and child custody, in my opinion, the courts really favor men, and women have to go above and beyond to get their respect and what is best in the best interest of the kids, and to make sure that the mother is put in the best position possible. She has to fight so hard. So we're going to talk about some scenes from a couple of different seasons of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Now, before we get into the sound bites, I ask that you please hit the like button on this video. By doing that, you'll cause YouTube to recommend this video to more people who love to discuss the varying topics surrounding Love and Marriage Huntsville. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe to Show Style and Spirit. I would definitely love to have you. And everything that I'm saying in this video is alleged and just my opinion. And the Copyright Act of 1976 says that my fair use commentary on these sound bites are allowed for criticism. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So this clip that you see is from the season 3 reunion. It is when they all took a break for like lunch. Everyone went to their respective dressing rooms, and Melody had to vent about Martell just randomly. She said, how can you just go on a stage and just make stuff up? You know, and she was venting, saying how Huntsville, Alabama is symbolic for her in a sad way. She said it's like a dark cloud. And, you know, everyone who knows me knows that I hate Huntsville, and I would just want to take my kids and go. And that scene was always so heartbreaking for me, because I feel like it's just so unfair. I have a friend, I have a few friends who are divorced, but one of them in particular, I remember her saying to me, you know, because we share a child, now I can't move out of state if I wanted to. I have to stay here because he's here. So when I saw this clip, you know, I thought of that situation as well. So it's just something that I'll never forget. So because I love making videos like this where we get to take a look back, because, you know, hindsight is 2020. And it's one thing when you're watching something and it's current and this is your first time seeing the episode. And then when you go back and you watch it, you can have a different perspective on it, or you may add more to your understanding about it. So with that being said, I want to play this soundbite and then come back with my commentary. May I also point out how beautiful and regal Miss Van looks. She is absolutely gorgeous, and she's going to have her daughters back as well. So let's go ahead and get into this soundbite, and I will come back with my commentary.
The proof. Call them up. You're trying to put a side person in the level of your wife. Right. Disrespectful. What's wrong with you? I'm the mother of 4 of your kids and was married to you for 12 years, with you for 14. Let me be clear. If I was out here doing all this stuff, I'd be in the same boat you're in. But thank God I'm blessed and favored. You know why? Because obedience and disobedience are two different things, baby. Did you even apologize when you were? Girl, when people want to know why I don't fool with him, why I can't just be cordial with him and do, because it's things like this that have been occurring for years. Right. See all them pictures right there? These are all pictures this man has sent me this year randomly to my phone. The reason this title, This Is Why, because this is why he's misbehaving, because he ain't got this no more. Right.
My desire now is for you to be able to have your kids in a protected, healthy environment.
Absolutely.
You're probably going to have to battle from your custody.
But they're not going to give it to me, Mama. The system is not going to give it to me, because you got to prove that he's unfit.
It's not fair for you.
It's not fair. I know. That's my point. I think the system's jacked up because they make women have to stay in environments. Huntsville is depressing for me. And I mean that. I hate being in Huntsville, and everybody in this room knows that I hate being in Huntsville. I hate it. It's such a dark shadow. And everybody in here has heard me talk about getting out of Huntsville because I hate being there.
You know, God's not going to make a way. God's got to
That's the only reason I'm sitting here, because I can't just get my kids to leave.
But God's got to work it out. You're going to be able to get those kids and go wherever you want to go.
God prepares us for things before He gives them to us, and we all know that.
All right, I said, listen, Joe. I'm about to be touching. People get to me.
I don't want nothing.
It was tough.
Tough is an understatement.
I felt sorry for Mel.
I did too. It took Martell.
Okay, so that is a tough scene to watch. And whether you have been through something similar, it may touch you and you feel her frustration and the depression of it all. And you could be an empath. You could be like me, like you can't in reality relate to what she's saying, but if you're just an empath and you can feel people's pain, you don't want anyone to experience sadness or frustration or hopelessness that a situation cannot change, then you feel bad for her. Let me know in the comments if you had to go through a divorce that included children. Were you also court ordered not to move to a different state because your ex-spouse was in that same state? Or if you know someone like how I know someone who had that same order as part of the divorce decree. It's really hard when you know that you cannot give someone exactly what they need. You kind of feel like, well, I'm going to pray for them. And you do pray, right? You go in your closet and shut the door, just like he said in the scriptures to do. You get down on your knees, you call their name out, you ask it in his name, because that is like the extent that you can do as a human being. You know, I'm not even a judge. I don't even have a law degree. I'm not presiding over their custody case. There's nothing that I can do in a tangible sense to give her what she wants, the primary custody, and be able to move to another state. She doesn't even need money, right, to cover the attorney. She's got all that, but that actual desire to be able to take her kids and move to another state, you know, I can't give her that. So that's literally all you can do is go to the supernatural and intercede for her and ask, just like Ms. Van said, God is going to make a way. He's going to make a way. Ms. Van was trying to give her daughter some hope that the situation will turn around. And even Jay said, God prepares us for things before he gives them to us. And I just feel so bad for Melody, because that would be very stressful and annoying and frustrating and sad to deal with someone like him on such a long-term basis, because you share the little ones and they have to grow up. But I know that since this season 3 reunion, Melody has been thriving with her business and just her overall well-being. But in this moment, I felt really bad. And when her mom said, you're going to probably have to file for primary custody, Melody said, the courts won't give it to me, Mama, because you have to prove that he is unfit. And the courts, they're not on my side. And this is very frustrating for me. I remember season 4 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta, when Phaedra briefly represented Sheree. And Sheree had an anxiety about going to court regarding her ex-husband, Bob Whitfield, because she said that Bob would walk into the courts and the employees who work there would recognize him. They would ask for autographs. They would ask for pictures. They would give him hugs, say that, you know, they were his fan. And that intimidated Sheree because she knew that he had popularity on his side. And then so she kind of had like a PTSD about going to court over the kids, and she cried in Phaedra's office. So I feel like it is so unfair. And when Sheree confided in Candy, who used to be so emotional, she cried telling her story about how the courts seemed to really give her a hard time to try and get child support from Riley's dad. to the point where she gave up. And she said she just one day told him, and she was crying when she said it, "You don't have to worry about me asking you for anything for my baby." So I think that it's a bunch of bull that women have to go through so much when these men are always held to such lower standards. And it's throughout life. It's the society that we live in. And some people say that depending on the state that you live in, if it is like Republican led, conservative led or more liberal, then the courts may let that influence their decisions as well. Like if they're more conservative, they'll lean towards the men. That may be true, but I kind of feel like that doesn't even play a role either. It's just the overall world that we live in. It leans towards men and it centers around them. So I want to show another clip. Let's fast forward 3 seasons later, and we are at season 6. And this is a compare and contrast to their most recent. And when I say most recent, I mean at the time of filming for season 6. So at the time of filming this scene for season 6, they had just had a recent custody appearance in court regarding the custody case. And so the compare and contrast is Melody debriefing with the Fletchers and Martell talking about what happened in court with his mom. So I want to play this soundbite as well and then come back with my commentary.
Court.
Oh, yes. Did y'all know y'all was being subpoenaed? No. I need to see that bar. Come on. Once again, Martell has involved the Fletchers in the middle of what we have going on and literally subpoenaed them without a heads up even to our court date. To me, that's not the way you move with friends. Knowing they know both parties involved, you don't involve them in your boo. So I felt like it was only right for me to reach out to them, stop by, fill them in a little bit, and also let them know that I hate that they've been brought in the middle of it. I was pissed. I was upset. I can't lie. I don't like being subpoenaed to court. You know, it's so crazy. Even whenever, it's like every witness even that he had, honestly, even his own, like, mother, the people he subpoenaed, we're like, it was like, what have you witnessed? Both of them do stuff with kids. I saw both of them. It was weird. It was weird.
Was everything okay?
Still exhausted though from court. Melody and I, we had a big showdown in court. She took the stand, I took the stand, my mom took the stand, and Chris Fletcher, he took the stand, and Marcus, who's Melody's brother, he took the stand as well. Crazy to say that, we had to pull friends and family into this court thing. So today, I'm visiting my mom, so we can discuss. It was tough. To me, it was hurtful,
And you know what? And it was hurtful for me too. Because I just hate the fact, y'all in the courtroom about y'all's kids.
About our kids.
And that's crazy. Why we got to be up in the courthouse?
Yeah.
These people ain't taking care of your children. These people don't care.
I guess you didn't get to see much because I think you was on a little stand for about 4 minutes.
What am I supposed to do?
You know everything that's been going on. We talk about it all the time. So when you have like an opportunity like that, you're supposed to be sticking it to them, mama.
Well,
and like when you got up there and like you didn't say much, they disappointed me to the core.
when I'm in there and they ask me a question, I give them the answer. I ain't volunteering nothing.
You're supposed to, because he asked you a broad question.
Well, duh, I ain't even used to doing all this crap.
Me either, mom.
So, don't be coming at me because that's you answer.
You my mama.
Yeah. And you my son. And
you're supposed to come and show out.
Well, you know what? You show up and show out.
I did.
And you did.
That's why I went in.
And that wasn't matter. That what matters.
Chris, he got on the stand. Like, you gotta talk to them out there. Yeah. And him too.
You can know Chris. I didn't get a chance to.
You needed to go in. I felt like Chris was honest with everything he answered.
I was.
I said Chris ain't going to jail for nobody for no perjury.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, sir.
He knew Chris wasn't going to lie about nothing. Then my attorney started asking about
the house that he's currently in, because Chris has it listed for sale. So my attorney, this thing too has been how many times has Martell moved at this point since you left?
Isn't it about to sell? Yeah. It's on
Say what now?
It's on the contract.
It's under contract.
We'll know today.
So he been have to move again? Oh, child. Can you imagine the stress?
Oh,
Child, that's why he probably asked me to pay for his attorney fees. He need that money. I gotta find him.
did he ask you that for real?
He need that for real.
Is he broke?
So there you go with the Nell at the end asking, is he broke? So this was, fast forward 3 seasons later, 3 years later, jovial, lighthearted, happy melody. The very beginning of this scene is her dancing into the Fletcher's home, because she said, I didn't know if you were going to let me in if I didn't dance in, since you're the TikTok king. And then they showed clips of Chris Fletcher's content on TikTok where he's dancing and showing off properties. I think that is a genius way of sales to show his listings, to be excited and high energy about it. That's like a key component with sales. You're either complimenting your potential customer or you're just being upbeat and positive. I think that's great how he does that. But anyway, they were talking about just basically summarizing what happened in court. And Chris Fletcher sounds like he was very honest, very neutral. Melody was pleased with what he said. Martell was displeased. In fact, Martell expected everyone that he subpoenaed to try and throw Melody under the bus, to try and make her look bad as a mother. And even Martell's own mom, she did the right thing. She spoke the truth. And, he said, I'm your son. You're supposed to go to bat for me. You're supposed to show out, was what he said. Martell, everyone does not have a heart's desire to be mean to someone. Everyone does not have a heart's desire to go out of their way to be negative towards Melody Cherie. So no, everyone is not going to be down with your agenda. And I guess Marlene in that courtroom, that side to her that remembers being a single parent, she just cannot get with trying to jeopardize Melody Cherie's custody of her kids. Marlene just can't get down like that. Obviously, her experience being a single mother was too serious and at times too stressful for her to even try and play another mother like that. So Martell, no, and you cannot guilt your mother into doing the wrong thing, and you definitely should not try and intimidate her. Absolutely not. And that is my opinion. But I just wanted to point out how, the courts, it just seems like, in my opinion, they're just geared towards the men. And there was even another scene, like after the commercial break, where the Fletchers and Melody, they're sitting down and they're eating. And Melody was saying how in the documentation, the judge tried to front and say, it seems like the father has the kid's best interest. And, I just instantly thought, where they are like in a red state, and I believe the judge, is a female of another persuasion. And it was just giving like, red state pick me. That was what came to my mind. And that's what I'm sticking with for even another woman to say that. Like, and the request that he put in that he submitted to the courts to try and get Melody's passwords on her devices. If I was presiding over the case, even before I referred to other custody cases or whatever the legal procedure is as a judge, just being a woman, I would say, okay, this guy has a controlling desire and he will not let his ex go because he is asking me to order her to show him the passwords for her devices and social media. That is not normal. That is crazy. And I don't think that it should take a Juris Doctorate for anyone to draw that conclusion from such a request. But I just don't understand. That's why I feel like the courts, they lean towards the men. Remember when, okay, so Steve Harvey, his ex-wife, the one, she was like brown skin, she had like a really fit body, and she would wear like long dark weave. She was attractive, like a chocolate drop, you know. I can remember her doing an interview with Larry King, and she alleged, she felt like, this is just me repeating what she said. She felt like Steve Harvey allegedly paid, the lawyers and the judge presiding over their custody case. And that was how Steve Harvey was able to get everything that he wanted in the divorce, and also concerning their kids. And she just felt really screwed over, and I can just remember just hearing her pleas in her voice and just feeling bad as well. And I don't like that. I don't like how, especially if you got the money and the muscle, you can just walk up in there and just get what you want. And in the courts, they just seem to be geared towards the men, and I just don't get it. But I really wanted to take this trip down memory lane in terms of discussing courts, custody, and chauvinism. Thank you all so much for checking out this video. I really appreciate the support. Please hit the like button on this video. It is a free way of supporting the channel. And please subscribe to Show Style and Spirit if you have not already done so. I hope that you all have had a great week. It's been both a great and long week. I'm glad the sale of my rental property went through, and the wire has gone out and the funds have dispersed. So I am just happy about that. And it's just saying goodbye to something that's been a part of my life, a property that I've had for 19 and a half years. And I experienced being a landlord for 7 of those years. And so I'm just thankful that I will no longer have to get to know a tenant and, see what they're going to do each month when that rent is due. I'm just thankful that that's behind me. I'm thankful for the buyer. And he saw, I was really selling the property myself, to let him know, like, this is great for anyone who's retired or a single person like me. When I bought it, this is great. And, it was funny when he checked it out. He was like, oh yeah, we're going to rip it up and do this and do that. And then when he wanted to confirm that the tenant was moved out, we met there then, and I showed him that it was empty. And, then it's like, oh yeah, well, this flooring is pretty good in the kitchen. And then we're at the closing table on Monday. And he's like, yeah, I'm trying to decide if I'll just have it cleaned or if I will do everything over. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you talk all this junk like you're going to do all this remodeling. And you see how it's really pretty great for someone to move in. And I was like, yeah, if I decided to rent it out again, I would just clean the kitchen, clean the bathroom. I would put new carpet in it because my tenant let her cat chew some of it. Oh my gosh, ridiculous. That really ticked me off. But I would say, yeah, I would just get new carpet, just clean the bathroom and the kitchen, and, start letting people check it out to see who you want to rent it out to. That's what I would do. And yeah, but anyway, that is a part of my past. So that is a good feeling. I'm glad that tomorrow's Friday, and I made it to the gym 3 times this week. Tonight was the